Kia ora and welcome to Destination Central. I'm Amanda Harper. This week we're at the Effluent Expo at Mystery Creek's Event Centre. Running for 5 years now, the Effluent Expo is your one-stop shop for high-quality information about effluent management services. We talk to the Waikato Regional Council, see some effluent equipment in action thanks to Pumpin', check out independent project consultants, talk to Reed and Harrison about one of their latest innovations, and discover practical solutions with Ag First Engineering. First up, I talked to Alan Campbell from the Waikato Regional Council about organising the Expo. The Waikato Regional Council is responsible for monitoring and protecting our environment. I'm going to talk to Alan Campbell from Land Management Advisory Services to find out more. Alan, tell us what it is that you and your team do.
Well, the main thing that we do is we work alongside our regulatory team. Those are the people who do the monitoring and compliance work on dairy farms. And we work with the industry itself to ensure that the systems are in place to support farmers to make the changes they need to make on their farms.
What are some of the issues that we are faced with that involves effluent processing and distribution?
Well, one of the big challenges for the industry as a whole in the Waikato is there's a lot of farms that have been operating for many decades, and in a lot of cases their setup isn't up to the task of modern effluent management, and so there's a catch-up process to go through of building up their infrastructure and making it fit for current purpose. And that's a very big undertaking for the industry and for the individual farmers involved, which is the reason why we have this kind of event. Is it makes it easier for the farmers to go through their planning process, bring together all the pieces they need to bring together and make their decisions about how they're going to go forward, and then they can plan that forward over the next coming years.
And what needs to be done about these issues?
Well, fundamentally that's it. It's make a plan and then implement the plan. And I guess there's another key element, and that is to give effluent the priority that it needs on the farm. That means that the farm manager or the farm owner needs to assign it and ensure that whoever has the job of running the effluent system takes it seriously and checks it regularly.
How aware are people of the damage that incorrect effluent processing and distribution can cause?
Well, it's variable. Some people are very aware, and mostly those who are aware are already working on fixing whatever shortcomings they have. But it is variable, and some really aren't paying that much attention to it, and those are more often the people who run into difficulties. The key thing is that the problems of effluent management appear in the water. They appear in terms of the industry's reputation and image, and they also affect the bottom line of the farm, because any effluent that's not well used on the farm is a wasted resource, and that affects the farm profitability.
And how does the Effluent Expo assist these farmers?
Well, a few years ago we realised that farmers were making decisions on quite significant expenditure on effluent systems, trying to get it right, but often with unreliable information to base that decision making on. And it was difficult for farmers to know where to go to get good advice. So we have set up an accreditation scheme alongside Dairy NZ, design standards, there's a code of practice, there's a warrant of fitness system now. And what we realised was that it was hard for farmers to get to the right people and get the right advice. So we set up this day so that people could go to one place one day and get around lots of exhibitors, lots of suppliers, covering the full suite of activities that they need to cover, and go home with a pretty clear idea of what their choices are going to be.
And what do people need to do to find out more?
First of all, come to the Expo, obviously, and there'll be another 500 or 600 people here today, we hope. But also contact an accredited designer or two. Get quotes, look for choices, go to Dairy NZ or Waikato Regional Council, and we're all very keen and able to help farmers to come up with good choices for their farms.
The Waikato Regional Council is here to help you properly manage your effluent systems. So why not give them a call and find out more? Pumpin are the suppliers of effective pumps, irrigation and effluent management services. Shane Phillips is here at the Expo to tell me more about some of his products. Shane, tell me about Pumpin. What is it that you actually do?
We specialise in dairy effluent, water management, anything reticulation, dairy farm water, plumbing cow sheds, anything to do with engineering and manufacturing of effluent product.
And how do you understand the needs of farmers?
Coming from a dairy farming background, I think we personalise gear to suit farmers rather than, sitting there at a desk and assuming things are going to work, or being there or being on the farm. We know what works well. We do it to suit what the farming background, works.
Are your products user-friendly?
We like to think so. Everything's simple and probably non-trouble-free,
Tell me about the Easy Skid.
It is just a simple low application skid. There's lots of types of things on the market. The difference with ours is you can just tow a string of them through gateways without dissecting them. It's a pretty simple product.
And what are the benefits of the SP stirrer?
We've been manufacturing the stirrer for up to 10 years now. It's one of the first long shaft stirrers on the market. It has a long shaft with no bearings. It's all nylon bushed, propeller spinning, and has no gearbox. It's running on V-belts, so it can be easily adjusted up and down and swung to the side.
I understand the Torpedo is a new innovation?
The Torpedo, it's new. We've been working on the drive unit for 4 years now. It's been very hard to build the actual drive unit to handle solids and have pressure. So that itself, it's not new to us, but to the marketplace, yeah, it is new and it's pretty revolutionary, yeah.
The Vibe panel, how has this improved effluent management for your clients?
Weeping walls are quite a common type of thing. We've basically just built a stainless panel, vertical rails. When it tends to block up, we've got a vibrator which starts and it dewaters it, it pushes the solids to the side and basically lets the liquid flow through so it can be irrigated to pasture.
And how can your customers find you?
We're available at 40 Taronga Street, Otaronga. Customers can come and see us personally or visit us on www.pumpin.co.nz or 07873 8673.
Visit the website or head down to the depot in Otarouanga to talk to Shane and his team at Pumpin. After the break, we talk to Glenn from Independent Project Consultants and see a new innovation from Reed and Harrison. Sometimes the advice you seek makes a difference between a good farm and a great farm. Glenn from Independent Project Consultants is going to tell us more. Glenn, tell us how you assist farmers.
The way we assist farmers is that we do independent designs and we carry out assessments on farm, comprehensive assessments on farm, where we look at the storage required, how well the irrigator is performing, their catchment, so that is their feed pad and their cow shed, and what is contributing to all the factors for what goes into the effluent system. And the key parts is really around the risk. What are the key risks of the effluent system from a compliance point of view, and then how we can actually identify opportunities to fix these and reduce the risk.
What are some of the perceived obstacles that are preventing farmers from having their effluent processes assessed?
So the perceived obstacles from farmers are to do with costs. So what is the cost going to be to me? But also one of the other big ones is what is going to happen to the information. So if we find something on site, such as non-compliance or effluent running into streams, when we visit, what are we obligated to do, and how can we actually help them? Are we going to tell the council or so the answer is, it's a confidential visit. Everything is confidential, and that's part of our professionalism, but we're trying to help them solve a problem, because at the end of the day we're trying to meet environmental compliance.
What sort of damage is caused from non-compliant farms?
The damage from compliance for environmentally is from two things. You can have runoff into the waterways, or you can have leaching through the ground past the root zone of the plant, again into the aquifers underneath. And the effects of these is the nitrogen and phosphorus in particular can affect aquatic life, but also help grow weeds and other algae, which will affect the waterway and the quality.
And what happens with non-compliant farms?
So if a farm's non-compliant, it could be picked up through his shed inspection, and so the dairy company would deal with that in their own way by asking the farmer for an improvement plan and to work through an improvement. If it's a non-compliance and the council pick it up, then they would, in some cases, issue an infringement notice where there's a fine, and that is usually a one-off. In some cases they may get an abatement notice, which is where they need to fix it by a certain time, and if they fail to do that, then they could head towards Environment Court, which has large costs in terms of legal fees and potentially fines, and in some cases they may be required to fix the system up, otherwise their dairy company is ordered to not pick up the milk until it is fixed up, which has happened in some places in New Zealand in the last year.
So really, farmers need to give you a call to make sure that they are compliant.
Yeah, from our point of view, I mean, our biggest thing is we're independent, so we're not trying to sell a pump, we're trying to fix what's right for them and give them tell them what is the risks of their system. So if it's a leaking pond, then that becomes a priority if it's the size of the pond. So it's really finding out what is right for them and what are the solutions that they need to deal with in the right priority, so that they don't waste their money and find something that meets their needs.
And how can people find out more?
So to get hold of us, go to our website or contact us on our mobile, and we can come down, have a look, do an independent assessment and find out what's right for you.
Thank you, Glenn. Take action so your farm can get properly assessed by independent project consultants. Reid & Harrison are innovators when it comes to effluent processing and distribution. They make pumps that are designed to do the yards. Yardmaster continue their innovative cycle in revealing the self-priming version of the multi-stage pump. The pump is specifically designed for shore-mounted application, where high efficiency is also a requirement. The self-priming feature reduces the need for any manual intervention on startup. Keith, tell us about why you developed this new pump.
The new self-priming multi-stage pump was really designed to have a safer shore-mounted solution for farmers. Instead of going out on floating frames, the equipment is now sitting on the shore where they can get to it nice and easy, they can maintain it, and it's just a very good way to operate a system.
And what makes this different from other systems?
Traditionally, the farmer would have to go out and use a floating frame, which means access going out onto the pond, or they would have to use something like a foot valve, whereby the valve is fraught with danger that it could actually jam and then flood the whole system. So this is the safest and easiest way of doing that solution.
Coupled with their newly acquired rotary drum separator and the recently released automation system, places the products in context of the system, which is important to understanding how they integrate. The automation gives complete control of the system. Even more importantly, allows recording of performance should this need to be evidence or reviewed. Why is it important to measure the system's performance?
I think like all things, it's all fine having a great system and it's working well, but you need to know exactly what it's doing. So the monitoring is important. Not only do you have to be able to control what you're applying to your irrigation and your pastures, so I think there will come a time when you also have to prove it as well. And also if you need to adapt it for the climate conditions, being able to monitor that knows exactly what you can do so you can do that control.
How easy is it to convert an existing system and how would you go about it?
It's relatively easy. Like all things, it starts with the planning. You have to have an overall concept in mind of what you're trying to achieve. Then once you're talking about that, we can start looking at the piecemeal replacement of equipment. We would start with looking at replacing the floating frame system with a shore-mounted system. So we'll be looking at the pump and the steering of that. And we have both products of those available that can actually do that quite easily.
And what is the best way to find out more about Reid & Harrison?
I think like all things these days, the first place to start is look at the website, yardmaster-pumps.com. That's a great place to start where you can get a lot of product information. But once you need to start talking about your particular situation, we have a great certified dealer network all throughout New Zealand. And lucky enough, that's also on our website. You can look up to see who's closest in your area and choose who you want to talk to.
Thank you. Combine your effluent requirements with a Reed & Harrison Yardmaster pump to get the most out of your distribution. Coming up, more on effluent compliance and what help is available. Finding the right solution for effluent management can be difficult, and although advice is helpful, information can get lost. Ag First Engineering is a comprehensive service designed to assist you in a practical way. Davitha, tell us what it is that you do.
So we're specialists in water and effluent systems for dairy farms and the hort sector. We do systems from pastoral irrigation to effluent management systems, and we look after the full projects from start to finish.
What are some of the common issues that you have to deal with?
A lot of the issues we have are on-farm management issues. A lot of that results from poorly designed systems that don't cater for the farmer's needs or they don't realise it. So we're all about making things easy for the farmer and making them cost effective and efficient at the same time so that they're user friendly really.
Can you tell us a bit about how your services have helped clients?
We're an independent company, so we can show all our clients all the options. We're not pushing any particular brand or product. We weigh things up for what they require. We look at their needs from a management point of view and also on-farm issues they may have, and really show them all their options so that they know they're going to get a robust solution that works for them.
Do you visit farms and assess their current situations?
Yes, we do. So it's very important that we get on farm and we look at their existing infrastructure and how they operate it, and then also talk to the guys on the ground who are managing it from a day-to-day basis and understands the needs of the farm as a whole.
So you tailor a custom engineered solution for every farmer?
Yes, that's right. So there's a range of different products and do different things, but linking them together and making them work is the most important thing. If you just roll in and try patch a whole lot of things together, they won't connect and they won't interface, so it's very important to custom design nearly every single job. We do a range of different systems to suit different environments. So as environments are changing, one of the big things are storm flow volumes. We're getting larger storm events, 1 in 100-year events. We need to keep up with higher flow rates, so we're continually innovating higher processing volume products. One of those systems are a new rotary drum separator that we've actually sourced from overseas because there's nothing locally to do that. So dealing with higher volumes and dealing with thicker product as farms intensify.
What sets Ag First Engineering apart?
So what sets us apart is that we really do everything from the start to finish, from design and consultation right through to commissioning and management planning. So we'll look at a job, we'll provide options to the farmer. They can then decide on what's the most suitable solution for them. Once that's going ahead, we can gather quotations from required contractors. We've also got the ability to do a lot of the work in-house ourselves with fabrication workshops and on-farm engineers. We manage the project, we tie everything together, we make it work. Everything needs to interface, earthworks, lining, electricians need to talk to the pond builders and vice versa. Everyone needs to come together. Without doing that, you can't achieve a system that properly interfaces and works. We need to make sure that happens. A lot of the problems that we see on farm is exactly that. Things don't interface, the other contractor didn't know what the other guy was doing, and we just need to make it work. Then we get to system commissioning, we test everything. We make sure what was designed was installed and commissioned accordingly, and then we make sure that it is exactly what the farmer was expecting.
And what do people need to do to find out more?
The best thing is to give us a bell. We can come and have a chat, we can come talk to you on farm and tell you a bit about how we can help you. That'll be the very best thing. You can check us out on Facebook, and we're continually updating a lot of the projects we're doing on Facebook, so you can see where we are, what we're doing. Otherwise, take a look at our website.
Thank you. Harming the environment is a crime, so make sure you've got all the correct processes in place or give Ag First a call. Here at Independent Project Consultants, we're about to find out what all the stink is about in having a compliance warrant of fitness. Anna, tell us about the Certified Dairy Effluent Compliance WAF assessment.
Yep, that's an assessment that we come out and we do on farm. We look at different areas of your effluent system and the inputs that go into the storage calculator, so we can determine how much dairy effluent storage that you need and if the size that you have there currently is sufficient. We also do a performance test on your irrigator, and that will give us information on how that's performing on the day and how that relates to being compliant. It will then bring all that information together and produce a report which will give you areas of improvement that can be made to bring it more in line with being compliant.
Is it a pass or fail system?
No, it's not. It's just an assessment and a report that will give you information on how your effluent system is performing on the day of the assessment. So it will give you improvements that can be made to make your system more efficient or compliant.
Why are these important to have?
They're important for farmers for their peace of mind. They quite often get quite nervous when they know that the council, for example, are out looking for people to find them who are non-compliant. They will just want to know how their system is performing and to know that they're still within the rules and regulations that they need to be. It's for the farmers' benefit. Sometimes the council and the dairy companies will complete their own basic checks, and that will identify some farms that may be at risk of being non-compliant, and so they will request that a warrant of fitness assessment is done by someone like myself who's a certified assessor.
And what sort of qualification do you need to become a certified assessor?
So the certified assessors complete a 2-day training course. We trained how to gather the information in the same manner. There's a methodology that's followed. We're also shown how to complete irrigation depth tests, and we're then assessed on farm ourselves by an assessor, and they will certify.
How does Independent Project Consultants differ from other providers?
Well, we're actually independent, so we do not sell products. We come on farm and we will look at your system and we'll give you advice based on what your system needs to become compliant, and also in the most cost-effective manner also, and how to make your system more efficient. So it's actually focusing on the client and what they need, as opposed to us trying to sell a product and make money from that.
How is the WAF different from the Regional Council or Frontiera shed inspections?
They do quite basic checks. So they'll come out and they'll just have a quick look over and find any obvious signs of non-compliance. If they see anything that alarms them, they will suggest to you that you get someone such as a certified assessor like myself out to assess. So we actually gather a lot more information. We complete the storage calculator, we do an irrigation depth test, and that just gives you a lot more detailed information on your system.
And what do people need to do to find out more?
Yeah, so you can visit our website, go to www.ipconsultants.co.nz. You can give us a call on 07 823 7577. You can talk to us about your on-farm needs and your effluent requirements.
Thank you. Staying compliant with your effluent management system is essential. Making sure your farm has a clean bill of health will save you money. Well, that wraps up the Effluent Expo. Thanks to the Waikato Regional Council for organising this great event. If you want to know more about effluent management services, get in touch with your regional council. My name's Amanda Harper. See you next week on Destination Central.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.